Lots going on in the Stauffer household today.
It is a busy day, but we're gonna stop and have some breakfast first. I definitely think we need some energy for today. Hey, what's up, family? I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
Two Crazy Ketos. And if you're new to our channel, welcome. Here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time we begin the day with a healthy breakfast, you'll be alerted to it.
So lots going on in the Stauffer household today.
Truly.
And I thought, truly. I thought it'd be fun to do a full day of eating vlog because I'm hungry.
Me too.
And so we're going to start off with some breakfast.
I have eggs, a couple strips of bacon, some freeze-dried strawberries because honestly, that's my favorite because the sweetness just gets locked in and it's delicious. And then I've got some yogurt.
I've got the same thing, only I'm also having a little bit of a jalapeno dip dressing and a little bit of Mateo salsa. We freeze dry these strawberries ourselves. We have our Harvest Right freeze dryer out in the garage. A little bit more difficult to run at this time of the year because it's hot, and so everything takes longer because it's already hot in the garage. So I turn on the air conditioner out there, but then that jacks up my electric bill. But we're actually going to do some more freeze drying today. But I really like this because whenever they go on sale, because locally grown, and recently they've been on sale, so we actually bought some more, and we freeze dry them. We just cut them up, hull and all. We stick them in there. It takes about 36 hours, but they just come out so
they're just
crunchy,
good.
Sweet. You can rehydrate them if you want, but I don't want to.
I like the mouthfeel of them hydrating in my mouth. I know that sounds weird, but they're also really good on top of salads. Really, really good.
And they're really good as a mix-in and ice cream. So I really like those. A little bit of yogurt over here. The only thing you have to be careful with the freeze-dried strawberries, because the water is gone, you can eat a lot more of them.
Right.
You know, it's like we talk about with the carnivore chips, that it's a great way to get protein in, but doesn't fill you up as much because you're missing all the water in those protein chips. Well, the same thing here. You can overeat them. I mean, this is basically 4 strawberries, which is definitely about 8 or 9 total carbs in this little tiny cup here.
Portion it out. Portion it out. That's the one thing that we have eyes on. We'll fix a mess of eggs, a mess of bacon, but when it comes to the things that we know have a higher carb count, that's the only thing we'll keep eyes on.
Yeah. Also having a good idea drink. I love starting the day with these. So rest of the day, before we finish this morning up, I am going to run the freeze dryer. We had a pineapple, and it was just around. I think one of the kids had gotten it or something. So I'm going to freeze dry that before it goes bad. I want to just see how it freeze dries. We're not going to eat it, but their kids will eat it. I thought it'd make a good snack for them. But I'm really kind of doing that because I had 1 tray left, and I want to try to freeze dry your creamer for your coffee. Not the keto brains, but you also like the super creamer.
I like the super creamer for not my first cup of the day. That's always keto brains, but the rest of them.
But I was thinking, sometimes they go on sale. Can you freeze dry it? And then also, how would it come out? Could you take that on the road as a creamer that's dried and just drop it in your coffee?
That would be really cool if that would work.
And the other thing I wanted to try freeze drying is I saw that you could freeze dry Jell-O. And I wanted to see how does that come out, thinking movie snack. So
oh my gosh,
I've got 2 trays of Jell-O, 1 tray of this sweet cream, and then I'm going to use the 3rd tray with that pineapple that I found.
Now, this is not the last delicious food that we're going to eat today.
No, I'm also trying to create a strawberry jelly because
Please.
strawberries were being locally grown right now. And, or a jam, or preserves, whatever you want to call
Something.
it. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work.
I do not know if this is going to work either.
And I figured rather than going through the trouble of making Jell-O, I just bought this stuff. This is sugar-free gel snacks. I got it at Publix. If it works, I'm gonna make like a Jell-O using like Redmond Relight or something like that. Like
that would be good.
You know, just all you need is gelatin, like beef gelatin, and then use the Redmond Relight, and then maybe add a little bit more sweetener. But I figured rather than wasting my Redmond Relight, this stuff is like super cheap. So, I mean, not the greatest ingredients. It's pretty much gelatin, water, and then sucralose.
I just want to see if it's going to work.
And then flavoring. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, here's a knife, just kind of dump them out. And then I think what we're going to do is, because it'll freeze, the more exposure it has, the faster it's going to be. So we're going to cut it like in quarters.
Okay.
And just kind of lay it out.
Okay.
And we'll just do, I don't know, until we fill up the tray. And then what we're going to do is we're going to stick these into the freezer.
I feel like this is an adult craft project.
If it works, it could be a really cool, I'm curious to see what the texture would be. Like what kind of texture you're going to get with freeze-dried Jell-O.
Like,
I mean,
is it
it's
gonna be
pretty much
hard?
water and gelatin. What is your favorite flavor? Strawberry, lemon, oh, there is 4 flavors. Strawberry, lemon, lime, cherry, or orange.
Jell-O is one of those things that it has no flavors, it's colors. Do you like red, green,
I think there's a flavor.
blue? I like pretty much all the red ones.
You don't think you think they all have the same flavor? I feel like I definitely can tell a difference in flavors.
I rarely use like the orange, and I always like the red, and I usually like the blue.
Well, you should spread them out a little bit because the more that they can circulate, the better it'll be.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. You just want to be able, you want the air to be able to get around them. And
look at how yours is like a perfect lines, and mine's like scattered mess.
so with the Harvest Right freeze dryer, you can put it in there, not frozen, and the machine will freeze it.
Oh.
But you can save a lot of time if you just pre-freeze it yourself. Like you can save about 7 hours of freeze drying, and that's 7 hours of that machine running.
Wow.
And considering you already have freezers running, put it in there and like let it freeze, and then you put it into the freeze dryer. Also, I find some items work better if you freeze them first. Like I have found like pickles, if you let the freeze dryer freeze them, they don't come out as good as if you pre-freeze them in a freezer.
Nice.
So it's like a little trick. If you have a freeze dryer, though you don't have to pre-freeze, it works better if you pre-freeze. Plus, it saves a lot of energy. It does cost a decent amount of money to run that freeze dryer.
Okay, Joe, it is time for that all-important question of the day, which is, what are we eating?
Can I give you the same answer that I always give you?
No, please do not, because you always say, I don't know. I don't know.
I really didn't put any thought into it. I can tell you this is generally always beef, unless I'm really lazy and we want to order something.
I smell like beef.
So I'm going to go see what we have in the refrigerator and in the freezer. Like the fastest thing to defrost is ground beef. Like I can defrost ground beef super quick.
Lickety split.
We also have a lot of eggs. Like we have like 12 dozen eggs. We could just do a whole bunch of eggs.
Eggs.
I did take a brisket out of the freezer the other day.
Hello?
But it's a little bit of an older brisket. We had gotten like a special brisket.
All our meat are special.
It was 50% off. It is still in the cryo packing.
That's not it.
And I threw it in the freezer. So I have it defrosted and I'm hoping it's still good. I mean, it was like dirt cheap. It was like $18 for a brisket. So I'm going to go check on that one.
That's crazy cheap.
The only problem is probably late to start it. Okay, so the brisket actually is not bad.
It doesn't smell bad, which is like the most important thing. Like people say, how do I know my meat, if my meat is good? Does it smell? If it smells, throw it out.
It has a funky smell if it's bad.
So here's the problem. It is 11 o'clock. On average, when you're going to smoke a brisket, I'm looking at 12 to 18 hours. It's a smaller brisket. I mean, that's a much smaller brisket, so probably not nearly as long. So I've got an idea that I have never done before.
Ooh, I'm scared.
We're going to smoke the brisket to get some smoke flavor, and then we're going to stick it into the sous vide. So we're going to smoke it, try to get it to, I don't know, like at least 140, 150 degrees internal temperature. Normally I would smoke to 165 and then wrap it. I'm going to smoke it for maybe like 2 or 3 hours. Just get some smoke flavor into it. Then we're going to sous vide it and see how that goes, because we have the Innova oven and we can put the temperature probe in there. That would make it faster than smoking it. And then if I want to char on it, we can maybe just like turn on the sear function. So try something different. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take some organic garlic pepper from Redmond, which I think is like a really good seasoning. And I'm just going to cover the whole brisket, and then I'm going to go stick it in the smoker. So the other day on Keto Beyond the Couch, we were talking about fruit and that you should really try to eat locally grown, in-season fruit if you're going to have any kind of fruit, and vegetables as well. Like avocados, you know, any that kind of stuff. It should really be locally grown in season. So if it's not locally grown, if it's not in season, it's probably not something for you. If you have something like the indoor garden, like we have our garden system, and you can grow it all year long, that's fine, because how much are you going to grow? It's not like you're going to grow like, you know, 12 bushels of strawberries in your indoor garden in your house. But really you want to stick to locally grown in season. And we were talking about how when we were kids, the fruit was very different than it is now. Like the fruit today is not the same thing that they had even when I was a child. And I wanted to show these strawberries. And again, these are locally grown in season, but those are not the strawberries from when I was a child.
That is the size of an apple from when I was a child.
Because they've been modified. The seeds have been modified. Even if you grow them on your own, this is not the same thing as stuff that you had in the wild or stuff that we had. They've modified everything to be bigger and sweeter. So that was a little rant. But we had bought a lot of strawberries, you know, when we went to the U-Pick a few months ago. I'll leave a link for that vlog up here. And when we did it, some of them kind of got very soft by the time we got home. And so I just kind of put them in bags and froze them. And Rachel has been really bugging me that she wants like a strawberry jam, strawberry jelly, strawberry preserves. When I was a kid, we used to make it all the time, but we used pectin and a lot of sugar. And so I've been going back and forth of like how I should do it, and I'm gonna wing it. That's the best way to cook, isn't it? Like, wing it! So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this entire bag. I actually have a couple of these bags, and I am not gonna hull them. Some people, when they make strawberry jelly and jam, they like to hull them because the inside white part doesn't really have a lot of flavor, but that's too much work for me. The biggest thing that's gonna affect is the color. Rachel, do you care about the color?
I do not.
So what I'm going to do is I've got my pot here. I'm going to just put these in here, and I'm going to let this cook down and let them get really soft and mashy. And we're going to go more for like a jam / preserve side. And what I'm going to do for sweetness, to increase the sweetness, is I'm going to use a little bit of Boca sweet. I don't know. We're from Florida, so we have Boca Raton, but Boca Raton is B-O-C-A. This is B-O-C-H-A, but I'm going to still say Boca, or Bocha, right? How's that? Bocha sweet. So we're going to use a little bit of this to up the sweetness, and then instead of pectin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use chia seeds, because chia seeds will thicken it up, but not use pectin. So that's the goal. How much am I going to use? I don't know. We're going to have to see as we go along. I'm going to add a little bit of time. I'll start off with the Bocha sweet and, try to get the sweetness I want. And then I'll add a little bit of the chia seeds in let them cook down a little bit more, and try to get it to thicken up. And once I've got it perfected, we'll make a separate video on it. Do you want... You can't have jelly, because like jelly is pretty much all of the pulp and everything removed, which would make it much harder to thicken as opposed to just all the sugar like you would have in a jelly, and we're not using pectin. So do you want jam or do you want preserves?
I want whatever is going to be thickest.
Okay, so you want a bunch of the fruit pulp in your jelly jam preserves.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got this cooked down pretty well, and you can see it's doing a pretty good job. What we're going to do is we're going to take an immersion blender, and we're going to just give it a quick thing just to kind of break this down a little bit more. You can also use a potato masher, or you can use like your Vitamix, but this is going to be less cleaning. Now, because we didn't take out the hull, it won't be quite as red as like a regular jelly. But also, those jellies you buy in the store, you know, they're adding coloring to it. This is more of the natural color.
I just want the flavor.
And I feel like that's going to be pretty good right there. So it didn't take long. Let me grab a spoon, and I'm going to have you give it a taste, and then we're going to add our sweetener. Okay, so it's not going to be sweet yet because we haven't added any sweetener.
Oh my gosh, though. It has such a nice, like, inside of a cobbler taste to it already because it's just, oh my gosh, cooked down so nicely. That is delicious. I mean, that is just strawberry.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some bocha sweet, and we're going to do a tablespoon, and then give it a mix, let it all blend together a little bit, give it another taste, and then add a little bit more if we need to. We could also use some liquid sucralose. Now, you can use erythritol. I would stick with a powdered one over the granular, but I like the bocha sweet because it really acts like sugar a lot of times. I like the way it breaks down. You could also use allulose. The only problem with allulose is only 70% is sweet as sugar, and I'm trying to limit the total carbs because there are carbs in strawberries. So you're making a jelly, so you're breaking down strawberries. So, you know, a serving of strawberries is like 2 or one of these giant things that I just showed you. You know, a strawberry of this jam is going to be like a tablespoon, and there's going to be carbs in it. There's going to be probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 carbs in it until I actually measure out the strawberries. I couldn't give you an exact amount, but there's carbs in it, and you're taking them and you're breaking them down. And one of the things about leaving in the hull is you are leaving in some of the fiber, but again, we count total carbs. So I'm trying to keep the total carbs down because you've already got plenty of sugar in the strawberry. So we're just going to do a little bit. And we're going to, as this is mixed down, we're going to go ahead and give it another taste and then maybe add 1 more tablespoon. So just to give you an idea, like 1 teaspoon of this is 4 carbs, or 3 carbs actually for 1 teaspoon. And there's, 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon. So you've already added in 9 carbs to the whole batch here. And we're probably going to add in another 9 carbs. So, you know, always start off low, and we can use some liquid sucralose because that would not have any carbs.
Is the tasting here?
Okay.
Wow. I'm going to say we need to add probably another tablespoon because there is a lot more tartness than there is sweetness, and the little bit of sweetness is what I am looking for in this jelly jam preserve thingamabob.
Okay, so I added 1 more tablespoon of the bocha sweet, and then I added 10 drops of liquid sucralose, and they're small drops because they're from our little dropper.
That is it. That has nailed it. I think the sucralose put it up over the top.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cook down for probably another 5 minutes or so, and then we're going to add in some chia seeds. Okay, and this has been cooking down for about another 5 minutes. So what we're going to do is I'm going to remove this from the heat. and I'm using cast iron, so I gotta move it over here a little bit. And now I'm gonna give it one more taste test. Because actually Rachel's been doing all the tasting because this is really for her, but I should probably taste to see if I think it needs something. Oh my gosh.
It's good, right?
Oh my gosh. Well, you should taste it now that it's cooked down a little bit.
It's basically like, tastes like the guts of a cobbler. Like, it is absolutely on point delicious.
Okay, now we're going to try to thicken it up. And also, I'm going to add a little bit of citrus to it. A lot of times when you make a jam or jelly, you add like lemon or something like that. I have no lemon zest and I have no lemons. So I'm going to add in a little bit of orange peel just to kind of change up the flavor. Probably about a half a teaspoon. I'm not measuring. If we end up making this into a video, I will give more precise measurements. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in some chia seeds. So the chia seeds are going to thicken it up, and as it sits, they're going to make it get thicker and thicker and thicker. So a lot of times people will work with chia seeds and they'll make the mistake of putting it in and going, oh, not thick enough, and adding more, and then before they know it, they've added way too many chia seeds, and then as it cools, it becomes like cement. So we're going to start off with just 2 tablespoons, and we're going to mix these in, and we're going to let it sit for about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll make a decision if we want to add more. Because again, as it cools, it's going to thicken more and more with these chia seeds. You just want to make sure that you give this enough time to thicken up before adding any more. So I pulled the brisket out of the smoker. I've got my handy dandy instant read. I'm just going to go ahead and check the temperature here. I'm at 147 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I am going to stick this into the Innova oven along with one of my meter probes. And we're going to set the Innova oven at 212 degrees, and we're just going to let it go. We're going to go until we have an internal temperature of about 205 degrees. And the cool thing about cooking it inside of the Innova oven or any kind of sous vide, except for we don't have to bag it using the Innova oven, the cool thing is I can't overcook it. We want it to go to 205, but the most the oven's going to go to is 212, which it will be perfect at 212. But I don't have to worry about like the point cooking faster than, the flat end, because again, it's never going to raise the temperature over 212 degrees if that's what I set it at. So whenever it's done, it's done. Hopefully it's done quicker. I'm thinking that this will be faster than cooking it on the smoker, but I don't know because I've never done it this way before. So we've had the strawberry jam preserves, whatever you want to call it. We've been sitting here on the stove for a couple of hours, getting thicker. When you put this in the refrigerator, it's going to get even thicker. I did add another tablespoon of chia seeds, but again, I have a lot of strawberries. I didn't pre-measure anything, so I may have to tweak things a little bit when I go to make an actual video, but let's go ahead and check the consistency as well as the taste. So it does look like it's a pretty good spreadable consistency. Probably want to get it a little bit thicker, but again, we're going to put it in the refrigerator and see if it thickens up even more. So you can go ahead and do the taste test.
Have the best portion of this recipe. That is wonderful. That is so good. Like you said, it's a good spreadable consistency, and that's really what I'm looking for.
It is time for a rant.
Oh no.
Yes.
I was not told there would be a rant when I sat down next to you.
It is time for a rant. So, we've had people message us like, I don't understand why you do product reviews, and we feel it's important because I think products can really help people, especially when they're early in their journey.
Oh, definitely. And I like finding out what is authentically a possible useful product and what is kind of being marketed to me to get my keto dollars without being something that can really further my keto journey.
Yeah, and a lot of the things that we review are things that we find on our own. Our favorite things tend to be products that were developed by somebody for themselves.
Yeah.
And then they decided, hey, I think a lot of people would want this, like Keto Brick, Keto Chow, Keto Brains. I mean, just all like Keto Crack, the candies, like things that people have developed for themselves. Mom's Nuts. Fox Hill Kitchens.
Yeah.
So those tend to be, in my personal opinion, the best things. The things that are questionable are the things that are released by big companies. Well, if we find things in the stores, here's been our rule. When it's a mom and pop organization, a very small organization, like just husband and wife, brother, sister, whatever it may be, if they send us a product for the purpose of a review, if we don't like it, we will give them our opinion sometimes. We won't always release a video. That may not be the right thing to do sometimes, but my feeling is I don't want to ruin someone's company because I personally don't like something.
Right. So we just are like, let me give you some notes. This is what we think, but it's just not for us.
Right.
You know, and then we just don't say anything. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything in that situation.
But when a product shows up in a store,
yes,
and anybody can go buy it, the gloves are off. Because, well, you're laughing, but here's the thing is now you get a lot of people who don't watch keto YouTube channels.
No.
Right? So you have the people who watch keto YouTubers, whether it's us or somebody else, and they really research keto, and they're trying to do the right thing. And then you have the people who see Woman's World magazine and see keto's going to help me lose a bunch of weight.
So they just look for keto.
So they just start buying keto, and they pick up a product going, it says keto, but they don't understand all about keto. And then they're like, why am I not having results? I'm eating keto. I'm eating 20 net carbs. I'm doing what the magazine said, and I'm sticking to products that are labeled keto because it says low carb or something like that. And they don't understand things like wheat are not good on keto, regardless of the carbs, because wheat's going to bring inflammation and it's going to turn into sugar. Maltitol, not good on keto. Maltitol, it still raises glucose just over a slower period of time. Plus, you go to the bathroom, right? We do negative videos. Hence the, if you remember, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Yes, that
Leave a
comes
link
to
for
mind.
that one up here.
Joe got in trouble for that one.
So we had some coupons that we have been using up at stores. Like Rachel had a bunch of free Egg Life coupons. So we've been using Egg Life wraps for ourselves. We absolutely love them. We've done reviews on them. No reason to do a video on that. We had a couple of Enlightened coupons.
Yes, and we have in the past, before we
They have some products we really like.
We really liked, and we used to get the ice cream every once in a while before we started getting like Keto Chow ice cream, right? So I saw this in Sprouts, and I thought
they have some products we like. I'm not going to say
I thought that looks interesting.
It says, but before we turn it over,
yeah,
because I was going to make a video
just about this,
reviewing this until I turned over the box, and now this is the video.
This is it.
2 net carbs, no sugar added.
Per cookie.
100 calories per cookie.
Ready to
bake. So, before we go any further, I want you to pause the video. Would you, just looking at the front, go down into the comment section, think back to when you first got started on keto. Would you have bought this? Yes or no?
I would have. Because
I would have bought it based on the front.
Well,
2 net carbs, 100 calories per cookie.
This looks familiar to me.
And the brand name.
As we know, I am not like a classically trained chef, right? I am not a baker. I am not great at cooking. That's why our recipes have to be so easy. Even Rachel can make them, right? So, but I would make the like break and bake cookies from like Toll House or stuff before keto. So this looks like, hey, I don't have to make my own cookie. I don't have to order a cookie online and delivered baked to me. But I can still feel like a mom that bakes with this. Right. So.
Okay, so you saw the front. You put down in the comment section whether you would have bought this prior to when you first got started on keto. I absolutely would have bought it. Heck, we're the ones who got duped by avocado oil mayonnaise made by Hellmann's or Heinz or whoever it was.
When I got these, I did not look at the ingredients.
You just bought
I
them
just bought
because
it.
Enlightened. And I will say this, I haven't looked at the back, but nowhere on the front does it say these are keto cookies.
No.
It does not say keto anywhere on the front of the box.
But when they say
But
net
when you
carbs
say net carbs,
and no sugar
who
added,
are they appealing to?
They're appealing to
They're
us.
appealing to keto and they're appealing to Atkins. That's why they're putting net carbs, because net carbs is a made up thing.
Okay.
Go ahead and read the ingredients.
The ingredients are high fiber wheat flour. Number one ingredient.
That's the number one ingredient.
That
This is not a
sounds-
keto product.
That sounds like a cookie right there. Allulose cream, soluble wheat fiber, and or soluble corn fiber, unsweetened chocolate, eggs, vegetable glycerin, cocoa butter, natural flavor, butter fat, soy lecithin, sodium acid, pyrophosphate, baking soda, salt, and monk fruit extract. It does contain wheat, milk, eggs, and soy.
These are basically sugar-free cookies.
So, although they're saying that it is 2 net carbs per cookie, it's 14 total carbs per cookie.
Okay.
And you're getting that, what everybody likes to see visually, which is 100 calories.
Yeah.
It's only 100 calories.
And here's the thing. Again, Rachel, you got duped.
I did.
Did you buy it for a review and didn't
I
care?
bought it for a review and I didn't care, but
Okay.
I totally did not anticipate there was going to be wheat flour in here, if
Okay.
I'm honest. I did not think it would be in here.
How much was this?
$10.
$10. And how many cookies are you supposed to get?
You get 12.
We are not making these. We'll probably pass them off to our nephews or something.
Somebody that, eats other stuff on
Right.
top of keto.
Can we open up the box and see? I'm curious, how big is a cookie? Because that box
Well,
looks awfully small for 12
Is
cookies.
it going to look like a break and bake?
Okay, so those are pretty small. Let's say they're going to spread
They will.
twice as much. They will spread, right? They've got baking powder and stuff, and they're going to spread. But let's say they spread twice as much. Those are some pretty small cookies.
Yeah. I'm probably easily going to eat 2 of them. Now I'm at 28 total carbs
Right.
for 2 cookies.
Yeah, so it's not a full review because I'm not trying it. I'm not eating it. There's certain things I'm not willing to put in my body, and wheat is really one of them. At least knowingly put wheat in my
Yeah.
body. If it shows up in a touch of sauce, not a big deal. It's not going to be that much. But I don't miss cookies enough to want to eat a wheat cookie. I would not recommend these products for anybody. Please, even if you're really familiar with the brand,
Check the ingredients.
check the ingredients.
Check
because
the label.
Enlighten makes some great products.
They do.
I really like some of their products. They actually have cookie dough bites, which are a really good mix-in for your Ninja
Yes.
Creamy, especially if you're using keto chow or
Those are
something like that.
delicious.
They have Enlightened ice cream bars. I think those are pretty good, although we like keto chow ice cream better now. I think their ice cream is good.
With their grab and go option.
But they're a nice thing. We have both purchased them when we are on a camping trip or we're on a vacation. I just want some ice cream and I don't have a Ninja Creamy with me. But we know the brand. And so we tend to pick up because we know the brand. And here is a brand, but not ingredients that go along with the other products we know from this brand. Okay, according to the probes, we're at about 209 degrees. Obviously, we have it at 212. The probe in here says 208. We're going to go ahead and check this out. It smells so good in this house. Right?
house smells delicious.
So, coming in here, let's take a look at this. Wow. That really looks amazing. We're going to do a probe test. Not even a temperature test. What we want to see is, does our probe go through like butter? And look at that. It really is going through. Let's do a temperature test with our instant read. 208 degrees, 209. And look at that. So that's the thick part. 209 degrees, right? Rachel, come in here and look at this. Look at the nice thin point on the flat. Let's take a look at that. Where are we at? That should be overcooked, right?
Wow.
So we're at 211. Now remember, we've got it set at 212. But that can never go over 212 because the sous vide is set to 212. So that's at 211. This up here is at 209. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to take this probe out. And we're going to put a little bit of a crust on this. So I'm going to turn off the sous vide mode. I'm going to put it on so that I have the top and the bottom. And we're going to crank this up to 400 degrees. 460. We're going to turn off our humidity. And we're gonna let this go for just like a couple of minutes. Get a little bit of a crust on. In the meantime, we've got some jalapeno poppers out on the smoker. Okay, Rachel wants me to save the grease.
Some liquid gold.
So because I'm trying to save this for you, no yelling at me if I spill it everywhere.
That's fine. You actually did really good. Good job. And
We'll,
you can
we'll
just
get rid of the rest.
Well, you can just use that as my plate if you'd like.
Oh, you know what we can do? We'll put this into this bowl. I made some, like, whatchamacallit? I made some coleslaw.
Ooh.
We can pour this, like a little bit of this, over the dog's food.
They're gonna love
They'll
that.
get some gravy since we got Ginny here.
Hey, Jenny, are you excited? You're gonna have some little extra yummies over at Oma and Opa's house.
Okay, ready? You want to try to slice this thing?
Yes, it looks really good.
So we do have a nice bark on it. Like, let's see if you can, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it if you come in a little bit. Let's see, ready?
Yeah.
So we have a nice little bark.
You really shaved off a lot of cooking time.
What time did we start this? We started it well after 12 o'clock. So I want to say it hit the smoker probably right around 12 o'clock, 12:30.
It's 6:30.
It's 6:30, but it's been done for at least a half hour, closer to 45 minutes. We've really been waiting on the jalapeno poppers. So 5 hours,
Wow.
okay? Again, you probably don't have the smoke ring that we would normally have, but I'm okay with that for the time. Most important thing is tenderness. So you ready? We're just gonna come right here.
Wow.
Whoa, look at that.
I'm kind of impressed. Now, how long was it on the smoker for?
Like 2 hours?
Wow. That's kind of amazing. I was not expecting that.
I don't know who should get the first taste.
I think you should get the first taste.
Oh my God. You want to try?
Yes. Mmm. Why have we not been doing this sooner? I could be quicker to eat a lot more. This is amazing. I gotta dunk it though. Oh, look at that. Hello. That's amazing.
Let's check out the other end, the point end, and see where all the fat is, how that came out. Okay, ready?
Yeah. Looking good, Hollywood.
Now, I did not separate the point or anything. And this was a smaller brisket.
We were literally going for
Look
a
at that.
fast cook.
Here's your fatty part.
Wow.
It's super tender.
Surprisingly tender.
5 hours, maybe 6. I don't even think it was. I mean, you're talking about at 12 o'clock, that's when we started seasoning it. By the time we got on the smoker, 12:30. I mean, wow. And I know we flipped it over to like let's put a crust on it at like 5:30. So 6 hours. Wow. You got to try this.
Yeah, because I'm all about the fatty part. Oh my gosh.
And the smoke flavor just came through, even though it was only in there for a couple of hours.
We have found a new way that we're going to be cooking these because, especially if you have a little one like this, I want to eat faster, sooner. Wow. This looks absolutely amazing. I cannot believe that we pulled this off
So
in such a little amount of time.
it's funny. I feel like when I was a kid, my dad, every once in a blue moon, we never really ate a lot of beef. When we did eat beef, it was like roast beef.
Right.
Because it was cheap cuts of meat. The thing that everybody fought over in the house was the end. Right? We all fought over. There's only two ends. You know, where you got the crust all the way around. And as I'm slicing and plating, Rachel grabs the end.
I know.
And she takes a bite, and I just...
You had the saddest face.
I'm so sorry. I shot her a look. She was like... Well, it was just like... It was like that kid thing. Like, you just took the best piece of the whole brisket.
I am so sorry.
That's okay.
I know
we're splitting it.
So, it is delicious. You know what I am loving? Hit it with a little bit of that Bubby's horseradish.
Oh, over here?
Oh, my gosh.
Here's the thing about good smoked brisket.
Next level.
You don't need any sauce. I mean, I used Redmond's already, but you can always have more Redmond. Okay, let's try that.
It's really good. I put a little chili lime on Joe's coleslaw. His coleslaw is divine.
I'll leave a link for that up there. I'm actually working on tweaking it a little bit to make it
highly recommend.
A little bit more like, I'm trying to duplicate the Chick-fil-A coleslaw.
Oh, I love that. You know, you're going to have to get the cubing up just right. What do you think?
That was good.
Really nice.
Wow. Wow. This came out so good. And here's the thing. When you smoke it, you don't normally have this.
No, you don't.
Right? It's just because this is like all the fat and the juices from the sous vide. And you can actually look on here. You probably can't see it on there, but you know, water, oil separate. And you can see the layer of the oil floating on top. So there's about 2 inches of nice fat up on the top.
I'll tell you what, if you mix that with some of the keto chow, the beef keto chow, hello.
Oh my God.
Make some like lazy engineered beef, but like pour that over it.
Also, something that I really like, and I've been very jealous because Jerry Van West,
Yeah.
has been doing it a lot. He got a Rectech,
He's amazing
which is
with
what
it.
we have, and I love my Rectech. And he's been doing like smoked jalapeno poppers, which I love, but we haven't been around, so we haven't been smoking a lot, and I don't really want to turn on the smoker just for the jalapeno poppers, but since we already had it on, we made some smoked jalapeno poppers.
I'll have to try those.
And
see if
so,
it's different.
well, you've got yours over there, and I've got mine over here. You want to dink it?
Yeah. Dink. Oh, wow.
That
That
is
is
so good.
really, really nice. I wrapped the jalapeno poppers. That's really all the hard part, right? Is the wrapping of the
You know what the
jalapeno.
thing about doing it in the smoker? 2 things. Number 1,
It's very soft all the way through, except for I feel like the bacon is better.
the bacon, because you're cooking it in the smoker, the bacon is like crisping without burning, as opposed we usually do it in the air fryer.
Yeah.
But then when you do the air fryer, here's what I find. And we do the air fryer because it's usually the quickest and the easiest. Wrap it up, throw it in the air fryer, right? But when you do it the air fryer, because you have that air circulating, what I find is sometimes they roll over on their sides and then the cream cheese kind of oozes out
Yes.
and you got cream cheese in there.
You didn't lose any cream cheese.
No. Plus, Caleb will like it this method because he doesn't have to clean the air fryer.
He'll be like, you need to smoke all of your food, even the coleslaw. That is just good.
That came out really, really good.
This is just a plate of delicious. If this was our July 4th meal.
These are mine, right?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
I can eat all of the...
Hey, I got the first bite of the point.
No, well,
Seems only fair.
I'll save some of them for you.
Well, thank you. But if this was my July 4th meal, I would be
I
completely
almost
happy.
grabbed this to drink.
You would know instantly that that was wrong, right?
Okay. So I'm sorry, you were saying like we would be really happy?
If this was the July 4th meal. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? A lot of times we put a lot of stress on a holiday meal,
Yeah.
right? And we need to have like 50 different things. Like we're having such a big potluck, and I'm very guilty about this. Like having 12 sides, making sure that there's 4 types of protein at least. But you just need to do one thing really good, right? So this is, you've got an appetizer, a side dish, and really well cooked meat.
By the way, this coleslaw, I didn't even really follow my recipe because I was too lazy to even go like look up the exact ingredients or the exact measurements. I threw it together in like 3 minutes. I literally grabbed the bag of the coleslaw mix, which I get from Publix, where it's already shredded. I dumped it in a bowl, in a little ice cream bowl. I just put, how much, I don't know. I put some Chosen Foods avocado oil mayonnaise because Anthony had one open because I haven't made any recently. I took a handful of red mint salt. I took probably about a half a teaspoon of celery seed, and then literally I just dumped it in my hand, like looks about right, threw it in there. Put about 5 or 6 drops of a liquid sucralose, you can use stevia, and then poured a little bit of apple cider vinegar. I didn't measure anything.
It's delicious.
I just mixed, and some black pepper. And I mixed it all up and said, yep, tastes kind of good. And the thing about the coleslaw is it's better the next day.
It really is.
Because the salt starts to break down that coleslaw and you get lots of juices in there. I know we're still eating dinner, but I know we're going to want to wrap this up. Do you want to try your jelly? It's been sitting in the refrigerator for a little while.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, so here's your jelly.
It's thickened up.
And let's see, jelly, jam, it's not jelly, it's jam or preserves. That looks like preserves to me.
Preserves.
That looks like preserves.
What's preserves in jelly and jam together?
Don't put it in your mouth yet. Let me get my spoon because we don't want to redunk this because other people might use this.
Right.
I don't know.
If they get any.
Dink.
Dink. Ooh, that's good. That's exactly what I wanted. Thank you. Thank you very much because it has been near on impossible to find a sugar-free jelly.
We've tried in full disclosure. We have tried the Chalk Zero one.
Not for me.
It was okay. It jacked Rachel's glucose. It didn't really affect mine, but it jacked her glucose.
So I don't want to use that.
And it's expensive. It's like $10 for a jar.
Right.
And we love Chalk Zero.
But that particular
thing
does not like
Rachel.
me, apparently.
We tried what is the other brand that we got? Good. The consistency is off.
It was like, I don't want strawberry Jell-O. I want strawberry.
Well, we couldn't even find strawberry. We could only
jelly.
find grape or raspberry. So you weren't super happy with either.
It was not good at that. It tasted very watered down. You know what it reminded me of? Something out of like Walden Farms. If you've had anything Walden Farms, you know my pain. Right. It's like, that isn't it. Like, if you've ever tried anything, and I mean, I used to buy those because it was like 0, 0, 0, 0. Like, the entire nutritional panel is like, there's really nothing in here.
Right. Just a lot of chemicals.
But it tastes like there's nothing in there. It was like very disappointing. So I didn't like that jelly. Then we tried another one that was very expensive. I don't even remember the brand, but they were using...
It was just a sugar-free, like, no sugar added.
They were using like fig juice and pears to
it wasn't
sweeten
sugar free, it was no sugar added. So you got the sugar from this, but then they were also using fruit juice sugar.
Yeah, it tasted like all I could taste was figs.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but that's just not I was not somebody that would like fight you for a fig Newton. I just did not like the filling. I don't like that.
You just wanted a little something.
Just want strawberry.
Because Rachel likes to treat herself with like, you know, a spoonful of like a peanut butter or something and a spoonful of that and put it with ice cream and
that's exactly what I wanted. Thank you. High five.
Okay, well, we'll make a standalone video for this. But I am going to say it's going to take a little time. So please don't like, hey, when's it coming? We are traveling literally 3 out of the next 4 weeks. So we will do it. You kind of saw what we did here. I want to perfect a little bit and get the measurements. Again, you saw everything today was just throw it in. Throw it against the wall, see what sticks. That's what today was. And it just pretty much stuck on the first try. But I just want people to know this is not super low carb. It is the lowest carb that you are going to be able to get a strawberry jam or preserves without using fake food.
I was going to say without using, like, Walden Farms is going to give you something, but it's like there's not really strawberries. It's like
real strawberry jam or preserve.
It's like you're using a combination of natural flavors to give it, to give you that.
Because you have to remember, we only do total carbs, especially when it comes to stuff like this. Like, if you want to subtract the fiber from your vegetables, be my guest.
I feel like
if you're gonna have any kind of a product, whether it be jam or jelly, whether you're making it at home or you're buying it in the store, don't subtract that fiber. I wouldn't even subtract the sugar alcohols. You can do you, but I wouldn't, because you're gonna overconsume. But when it comes to things like the store-bought jams and jellies, the way that they're telling you it's low carb is they're pumping in a bunch of fiber, usually as a sweetener, or as a thickener, like soluble corn fiber. I wouldn't deduct that. It jacks a lot of people's glucose, and that's going to derail you. So we're using strawberries, we're using chia seeds, and a little bit of sweetener. Most of the sweetness is coming from the strawberries. The sweetener is just to overcome some of that tartness. And then the chia seeds are to thicken it up. You can't get pure jelly or jam any lower carb than we've done it.
My thing is, it has to taste good. I'm at that point where I am not going to like settle for like in the ballpark. I really just want the flavor that I want. If it's not possible on keto, I'm fine with it. Like, I will move on. But I don't want to move on until we've done our due diligence to try to make it happen.
I just want people to know, I haven't done macros because, again, we didn't measure everything out. My ballpark guesstimation is this is going to be probably somewhere around 4 to 6 total carbs per heaping tablespoon. I would say 2 tablespoons is probably going to be about 8 carbs.
Yeah.
Total carbs. It might be more. It might be less. But that's my guess is going to be somewhere around 6 to 8 carbs. And net's not going to be that much lower.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2. But again, total carbs. Got to look at total carbs. Because if you even, let's say you did net carbs and it took off 2, you're going to want to do 4 tablespoons instead of 2, right? Because you're going to be like, oh, I can have more. You don't want to eat 15, 20 carbs of this a day. That's going to derail you.
Oh, absolutely. But I just wanted something.
Well, hopefully I gave it to you.
A treat, and you definitely did. So thanks for that.
If you like seeing videos like this, take a look at some of the videos we have linked right over there. Also, make sure you take a look at the most recent video that I'm going to put right over here.
But whether you head this way or you head this way, don't forget to head this way. Subscribe to our channel and click the little bell icon. And that way, every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.